Angela, hey, how you doing? How you doing? Greetings and salutations. Hello, hello, hello. Lady in Black, hello. Basic Mom, hey, 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 how y'all doing? Happy Thursday. Demetra, hey, we got a dime up in here. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? You guys, if you don't mind, the few that are in here, if you don't mind hitting that like button for me, and then if you don't like what we say on here, then you can unlike the button. But if you don't, if you don't mind, hit that like button as you come in. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the ones that hit that button. Thank you, guys, ladies, folks. First, I would like to say Happy Easter Day. I'm a little bit late, right? I went to South Carolina for Easter, and I was tired when I got back, and So, yeah, I hope you guys had a wonderful Easter. Excuse me. Hope you had a wonderful Easter. Hope you got all dressed up in your nice little dresses, your little frocks, got your little hair done and stuff like that, got your hair did. And you know, put a little praise up in the meantime, you know, at the same time. I'm trying to play catch up. I've been watching a lot of videos. I have really been enjoying YouTube this week, watching videos, watching new people on YouTube, as a matter of fact. But really trying to catch up with what's going on in the day to day. And y'all, there's a lot of stuff going on. There is a lot of stuff going on, and it's involving a lot of our people. I don't know what we got going on, but we need to get it together. We got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff going on. I'm lost on these streets, so confused. Basic Mom, what you lost about? What didn't happen? What didn't happen? I don't even know if I need to ask that question. When it comes to these streets, child, when you ain't no telling what might come up. What didn't happen? What happened? Y'all, I'm trying to hide my stuff in the bag because I'm trying to set my office stuff back up. So if you see me moving to the side, I'm literally trying to hide the stuff that is behind me. Don't talk about what you gonna talk about. Find another reason to talk about me. I don't know what's going on. I'm not here much anymore. Okay. I did pop into a live last night and answered a couple questions. Haven't done that in a while. I try to stay I stay out of chats, even though I may watch. I stay out of the chats because it seems like when you comment on something, it tends to be a bit of a distraction. And one thing, as a person that does YouTube, as a YouTuber, I know how those distractions can be sometimes. So especially when you're trying to talk about something and then it seems like, you know, people in the chat start getting distracted and start talking about other stuff. So I just stay in the bushes usually and mind my business. But you know, I'm still here. One of the things that I want to mention really quick, I had spoke to you guys last week about a lot of, it's heartbreaking the way this case has been going for the last few years. I just stay in the bushes most of the time. Basic Mom, I think that's the best thing to do. That's the best thing to do because I think at the end of the day, I've said this before, right is wrong and wrong is right and left is right and up is down and blue is red, and like The stuff that makes sense doesn't make sense. Basically everything is backwards. Basically that's what it is. And trying to come and put the truth out is almost a minute point when you don't have people that really want to hear the truth, whatever that truth may be. You have a lot of people that just don't want to hear the truth about anything. They just don't want the truth. If they're for something, they don't want to hear anything against it. If they're against something, they don't want to hear anything for it. And you're lucky to find some people that are just in the middle that's trying to just get the truth on everything. Like they don't care like they just want the truth. I'm Teresa. Hey, how you doing? You're lucky to find some folks like that. So before I get into this other thing that I was gonna get into, that made me think about stand up, be counted. Hey, thank you for that information. Thank you for that information. That made me think about this Nature Boy thing. And I really been, because I wasn't familiar about any of this stuff. I literally just started seeing it this week on YouTube. Like all these different stories kept popping up on my timeline. And I do see a lot of people that are discussing it. But the thing I think that bothers me the most, with that, looking at the things that he had going on and the way that he was able to lead people and manipulate people, I think the thing that bothers me the most about that is that a lot of people that are talking about it don't realize that they are or have been manipulated by people as well. Some of them are the manipulators. And those cult behaviors that some of those people are following, this is something that we're seeing on a daily basis. Now, of course, what he's doing, he's taking it to a different level. And there are some illegal matters that may be involved. But whenever I see it, I see a pattern of behaviors amongst our people. And I'm going to say black people at this point. I see a pattern of behavior among black people that are looking for someone or something to follow. So in this particular case, it may be that these women and some men were following this guy and believing what he was saying and, you know, pretty much drinking the Kool-Aid. But we're seeing that on a daily basis. We're definitely seeing that on a daily basis. People are being manipulated. People are being told what to do. People are they're following stuff that they know is absolutely just wrong, and they're turning a blind eye to a lot of things and making whoever that leader is at that particular time, they're making that leader the exception. So when I see, like, you know, people, I don't even want to get into the full extent of that, but I see it every day. And it's deeper than what people think. So whenever I see people talking about a situation that happened with him and how those women were stupid or dumb for being sucked into what he had going on, I'm sitting here thinking, are we not looking at what's going on out here every day? Are we not seeing this? Because I'm for darn sure seeing it. Now, I may be the only one. If you see it, you can put a one in the chat. But I'm definitely seeing it. Because when I can go somewhere and you can get me to change my name to what, you know, you want me to change it to. You can get me to not go and talk to these people because you told me not to. If you tell me not to do this, I'm not doing it. It's like a lot of stuff going on, like, and you see it a lot. When you see people doing something that's dead wrong and they're doing it like blatantly in your face and they're daring you to say something to them about it because they know that you're that far gone, that they have gotten in your head, that deep in your head that you can see it and don't see it, that is being brainwashed. That's someone that has been manipulated. And that doesn't have to be someone that's involved in some type of sexual cult or even a religious cult. These are things that we're seeing on a daily basis. So I'm trying to figure out, like, like I said, I see people pointing out the stuff that was going on with him, but we have a lot of people that will be considered flock. And they have shepherds. And it's sad. It's sad, and I'm hoping that I don't know. If I'm listening or watching somebody and you're telling me to do something or telling me something, I find myself thinking like, who the flip you talking to? Then I know I need to go about my business, because you're probably trying to get me to do something I ain't got no business doing. And if my spirit ain't telling me to roll with you, or if something just don't sit right with me with it, I'm not gonna go, I'm not gonna go along with it. So and usually you can tell when that type of stuff takes place, because if you disagree with something, then you're ostracized and you got to go. And that's how cults work. If you are involved in that type of herd mentality, and you let the others know, or if the leader finds out that you don't agree with something, hey Sherry, how you doing? That you don't agree with something, or maybe you're questioning them, then you're ostracized by the group. They will turn the group against you. The people that you have sat and shook hands with and dapped it up with and kicked the bobo with every day, these people will turn on you at the drop of the dime, just following the direction of that shepherd. That is a cult. Now, and I'm going to take this. Now, see, this how stuff work, y'all, because I'm supposed to be doing something completely different, but I need to do this for a minute. just let me do this for 1 minute. Okay, so I'm looking at the definition of cult. Now, looking at the Oxford definition, or from the Merriam-Webster version, they gave 3 different definitions of a cult. 2 of those definitions have to do with religious beliefs. So the first one is a system of religious veneration and devotion directed towards a particular figure or object. The second one, a relatively small group of people having religious beliefs or practices regarded by others as strange or sinister. The last one, most importantly to me, a misplaced or excessive admiration for a particular person or thing. A misplaced or excessive admiration for a particular thing or person. That's what I'm seeing. Where is that comment? That reminds me of Nature Boy, since he locked up the women, are telling that. Exactly. Now that they feel like they have some freedom, now they are coming out with their stories. But as long as he was out and he had some type of control over them, or he could get these other people to do his bidding for him, then they wouldn't say whatever they need to say, because whenever you have a leader, their job is to instill some type of fear in you. And it's not so much fear that they're going to hurt you physically. A lot of that fear is psychological. It's that you don't want them to be mad with you. It's just like an abuser. You don't want them to be mad with you. So you make sure that you stay in your place. You don't want them getting upset with you. You don't want the backlash. You don't want them coming at you, because that leader, whenever they gets upset with you, whenever he or she gets upset with you, they're going to go for that Achilles heel. So whatever they know or whatever they feel is a vulnerability for you, whatever they feel is a soft spot, a weak spot for you, that's where they are going to try to hurt you. And so those people that are a part of that flock, they will do whatever they need to do to try not to be the victim of that abuse that'll come along with that. Is that not what we see? Is that not what we see? Everybody's going like checking to see who wrote this over here, who wrote that over there, who's saying this over here, who's saying this over there. And if I see you over here and you come back over here, then this is going to happen. Y'all, that's someone leading you. That's someone telling you what you can and cannot do. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm too grown for that. I'm just saying, I might not be the grownest person. I may not be the oldest person in this chat right now, but I'm too grown for that. Those days are long gone, okay? You will not tell me who I can talk to. You will not tell me where I can go. You will not tell me where I can sit, what table I can sit at, who I can talk to at the table, what I have to eat at the table, what I have to drink at the table, which fork to use at the table, which spoon to use at the table, which knife I need to use at the table, whether or not I can use salt, pepper, seasoning, salt, what. You will not. You will not. And you have to make sure that you don't find yourself in a place where you are being led. Let me tell you something. Hold up, child. Whew. Listen here. Listen here. ABZ, hey, how you doing? Listen. A misplaced or excessive admiration for a person or thing. I honestly, Manny, I don't think that he had a cult. But I think that there is a following around him, not necessarily being led by him at all. There are others that are trying to lead people, and everybody has their own agenda. But there is some type of following, and it's not a healthy one. I'm pretty sure in the midst of it, you can find one or two that may be healthy, but overall, it's not a healthy one, because again, we're talking about a misplaced or excessive admiration, and that excessive admiration is some of what we're seeing, not just with him, but just in the YouTube streets, and just in the world in general. We see people putting people on this pedestal and acting like they are like they're these mythic creatures. They're not real. And see now, when you look at the stuff that was going on with this little nature boy dude, I mean, it's not hard. People would say, how could they fall for that? Y'all, it's not hard. It's not hard. It really isn't. The only thing that it takes is for people to sit back and observe. And what they do is they observe other people's vulnerabilities. They look and see, it's called prey. They prey upon people and their vulnerabilities. Who can I get out of this group right here that needs this, that's lacking this, that I believe it? Who can I get? Who can I manipulate? Who can I say these things to, and I know that they're going to do what I want them to do? There's always going to be some. There's always going to be some. Somebody's going to be lacking attention from somewhere. Somebody is going to feel like they're lacking understanding from somebody. Like, you guys, it's always going to be somebody somewhere, and that's where that person comes in, that perpetrator. That's where that person comes in, and okay, that's the one. Let me get you. Oh, yeah, let me get you. Let me get you, because you're going to tell this one right here, and you know that they vulnerable too. So yeah, go ahead, and they start pulling them in. And then you have like a group of the same type of individuals, and those individuals usually are loyal to whoever their master, leader, whatever you want to call it, whoever that person is. Why people see nothing wrong with sugar daddies and sugar moms, and they're dating 18-year-olds. Everyone is fine with that, even the government. That's weird. I don't know. I think everything just comes down to whatever they consider to be legal. And if it's legal, and I don't even know if that's true, because it all depends on what somebody else's, what their beliefs are. Because even if it's legal, if it's something that they don't believe in, or something that they don't do, something that they're against, then it's going to be a problem, and they'll make it a problem for you. So I don't, I don't know. I don't know. One of the things that I wanted to get on, that I wanted to touch on tonight, because I had mentioned it last week, is we have a lot of things going on with our black women right now. Particularly, a lot of our black women are being killed. Now, my issue with that, and I hope we have some men. I know I saw dads in here. I hope we got some other men in here, but a lot of our young black women are being killed by our black men. Recently, a lot has been happening. I'm seeing like just story after story after story after story. In a minute, by the time you finish reading one story, then you get a notification for another story where someone else has been killed. And then you get another notification for another story. And it's usually significant others or people that had some type of involvement, or there was some type of stalkish relationship going on with whoever this person is. So I told you the story, and I let you hear the guy that was talking about killing the young lady and her aunt. More recently, we had something that happened I think it was this week, where a guy killed this young lady and her baby. We had another situation where, and this wasn't a man that did it, but we had another situation where a lady killed this child's grandmother. Like there was a lot of stuff going on. More recently here in Atlanta, you had a situation where a security guard, Anthony Frazier, just got out his car and this guy walked up, killed him, then robbed him. Now I'm going to get off the black thing for a minute. You had a young lady in New York City, a young mom, that was murdered. Body found in a duffel bag. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but as of today, I think that was today, they actually found the person. They have the person, a suspect, but he admitted that he did it, that killed this young lady, stabbed her several times. We already knew that it was a crime of passion. Just from the information that was given out from the beginning, you could tell that she had been involved with someone. Things went awry, and we had this happen. And sure enough, he came out and said that they had been romantically involved for the last 2 years. They got in some type of altercation. I'm thinking, again, this is just going to be my opinion on this because she isn't here to speak for herself, but I'm thinking that maybe they haven't been, well, actually, that he did say they haven't been involved for a while. It was called off, basically. And I'm thinking that maybe there was a situation where he didn't want it to be over. I'm not sure, but they had some type of altercation, and he pulled a knife. He stabbed her. He stabbed her numerous times. He stabbed her numerous times. So like I said, you could tell just from her being stabbed all those times and being found in a duffel bag, you knew that that was what is considered a crime of passion. So you knew that there was going to be a relationship component in that. Where I live, Shreveport. 2 years ago, this man killed his side chick on Facebook Live because she wasn't talking about his main. Because she was talking about his main girlfriend and she wouldn't leave her alone. Y'all, it's this kind of stuff. It's the situation with the guy that I told you about last week. He murdered this young lady, even though he didn't come out and say. You could read between the lines and tell that he said that she was ready to move on with her life. She wasn't dealing with him anymore. That's basically what it was. It wasn't just about her moving on with her life, with her job. She was moving on, period. And he had a problem with that. So you threaten to burn up the dog, and when she says, don't do that to the dog, do it to me, and you go and say, okay, and you go and you kill her, and then go back and you still burn up the dog along with her in the house, even though she was already gone, and then murder 2 other people. You had that situation. I mean, y'all, it's so many, and I'm gonna try to pull. You had another young lady, a 31-year-old that was shot and killed, pregnant 31-year-old that was just shot and killed at a gas station. You have a dad from Alaska. Y'all, this, and I have to say this in a certain way so that my video doesn't get hit, but you had a guy, a black guy from Alaska that was eventually found in New York. His daughter had accused him of doing some inappropriate things to her. He killed her and her mom. And he was found in New York. He was arrested on Wednesday in Staten Island. It's just... a lot of things going on, and the stories go on and on and on and on. It's like just a lot of criminal behavior. You also had, and this has... let me come back to that. It's just a lot. And this is one of the things where I was saying before, you know, yeah, we have the foolishness and stuff that goes on YouTube, that goes on YouTube, and like the stuff that's going on with celebrities and stuff like that. But we have so much other stuff that is going on. And just speaking to my ladies right now, we have to be careful. We have to be careful. And for the guys that are on here, I can't speak for nobody else, but not saying that we can't hold our own, but we need... the same way that we fight for you, we need y'all to fight for us. We need that same protection. You understand what I'm saying? Because it is too many. You guys, I don't even watch the news. So the stuff that I see it on Facebook. I do not watch the news. So the thing, it bothers me, and it's just disheartening, because we have all these people saying that they're standing up for this. And you got people saying that they're standing up for our women, and they standing up for black women. I call foul on that. That's a bunch of bouffalet to me, because the same people that say that they are standing up for women, the minute they get a chance to come after another black woman, they will chop your head off. The same people that say that they are standing up for our women, they don't give two flips about the stuff that's been happening with these women every day. Stuff that's happening to people that stay next door. They stay right down the street. That stuff gets overlooked. If it's a celebrity, it gets talked about. But just everyday, regular, schmegular Janes and Jane Does and Susie Q, those people are completely overlooked. So I call foul when I hear people saying that they're standing up for our women, because standing up for our women means more than just coming out because you feel like a celebrity did or did not do something. Like that celebrity piece is just it's a minute piece in a much bigger world. It's this compared to this. It's just a little piece size compared to all the other stuff that's going on. So are we really looking out for our women? Are we really looking out for each other? Because if we are doing that, then we wouldn't be sitting here trying to hurt each other. Never mind doing it in private, but shoot, we wouldn't be trying to hurt each other publicly. Come on now. So this is the stuff that I am sitting back and looking now, getting on that. For those of you that don't know, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. I'm not going to do too much stuff on YouTube with that. I do stuff outside of YouTube with that. I don't want to bring a lot of this stuff to YouTube because we got a lot of folks that just don't know how to act. And I want to make sure that whatever message that I'm trying to put out or whatever I'm trying to do to help someone or someone's, that it doesn't get caught up in the mix of all the foolishness that tends to take place on YouTube. With that being said, there was a 15-year-old from North Texas, a 15-year-old female that was abducted. And I'm saying abducted at this time, but it looks like she went of her own free will. But she was 15 years old, so she was abducted from a basketball game. She went to the bathroom and never came back from that game. The camera saw her leaving with the guy. So she was missing. I think she was missing for 2 weeks. Basically, she was taken and they were sex trafficking her. The parents eventually found out because someone saw pictures of her on some websites that were soliciting, y'all know. And so it started out with them arresting a black male and 2 women. And this is in North Texas. By the time they finished, and they found her at this hotel. By the time they finished, they ended up arresting a total of 6. So it's 2 males and the other 4 were females. Now, I'm saying that to say the man was in charge of it all. But again, if we are looking out for females, and for me, it's not just a protecting black female thing. If we're going to protect females, we need to protect females. It doesn't matter if they're black, white, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, Pacific Islander. Like, it does not matter. A female is a female. I mean, we got to keep the same energy that we're keeping for, you know, our male counterparts. We got to keep this same energy. So these 4 women took part in the abuse and the other things that were happening to this 15-year-old female. So my thing is, where is the anger? Where is the outrage when it comes to this particular thing? Because yes, we can get on the men for their part in this, but we had 4 other women that were involved in this. And that's a bunch of mess. Mano King, how you doing? That's a bunch of mess. So we're going to really talk about protecting our women, and we want to call, with this situation, we want to call the men out on stuff. I'm going to need some people to step up and call these women out on the mess that they had going on, because not only did they take part in the situation, they helped keep her there. You had one woman that was responsible for taking new pictures of this 15-year-old. You had all this stuff that was going on. And luckily, somebody on the side, I don't know who it was, I feel like they knew who these people were, but somebody went and told, got in contact with some folks, and got these people arrested. But listen, all this talk about we trying to protect this and protect that, I call complete and utter bull on it. Let me see some stories about this mother that was found in this duffel bag that had been stabbed up by the handyman. Let me see some people doing some stories on this and raising awareness to these types of situations and the red flags that people should be looking for. And like, let me see some people raising some awareness to this instead of getting stuck in one particular thing, acting like we don't see nothing else that's going on in this world. If we're being honest. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Another story that we had. There was a video that I came across, and it was an interview with the sociopath, and I thought that this was a good interview. And I think it's an interview. I wish I actually would have did my stuff on StreamYard. I got to start going back on my computer, but I wish I would have did my stuff on StreamYard, because this guy, he wanted to. What is it like to be you? He is admitting he is a clinically diagnosed sociopath. And he wanted to come on and do this interview with this guy. And I don't know if this guy is a therapist. I don't know if he's a counselor. I don't know if he's a psychiatrist, psychologist. I don't know. Special boost. I need to figure that out. But some of the things that this guy said in this interview,
I'll say it's pretty average, to be honest. If you were on the outside looking in, you would say that it was pretty boring. Because for the most part, what I tend to do now is I tend to just really stick to myself.
So just a little backstory. So this guy that is talking actually has a diagnosis of antisocial personality disorder and bipolar disorder. Yeah. So that's deep. So he is sitting on here talking about his situation, but some of the things that I wanted you guys to hear is he actually goes into detail about how he goes about manipulating people, some of the people, like how he chooses the people that he is going to manipulate. And this is particularly important right now, even with it being Sexual Assault Awareness Month, because a lot of this happens before it gets to the place of an assault or something taking place. For a lot of people, there's a lot of manipulation that takes place in order for them to let that aggressor, the person that ends up being an aggressor, before it gets to that point, there's some manipulation that takes place to let them get close enough for this thing to happen. Now, that is not the case for all people, because some people, have stuff going on and they don't know who the perpetrator was. But in this situation, and going back to what I was speaking about when we first came on, just people having cult-like behaviors and not even realizing it, and seeing it in other groups, but not seeing their how they are like just walking a fine line, and some of them already crossed the line, whether or not they want to admit it or not. But they have the
because I have to be
the
very
tendency.
careful about how I'm interacting with people and under what context I'm interacting with people. So I tend to limit anything that would be negative for me.
Why do you have to limit yourself?
Because if I encounter a certain kind of person, and if I'm talking to you and I sense a level of weakness, I get kind of the urge to prey upon that in a way. So in order for me to kind of mitigate that, I definitely limit my social interactions.
So this is what I was saying. You have people, now this is, he considers himself to be a sociopath. Even him trying to correct his behavior and him trying to rehabilitate himself along with the therapy that he is getting, if he sees someone, because he's trying not to participate in some of the behaviors that he has participated in the past. So what he's doing is, when he comes upon somebody that he already sees just by talking to or watching them, he sees that they are easy prey. He's trying to stay away from those people. And this is the thing. You got a lot of people, they are not trying to stay away from you. They are looking for the people that are easy to manipulate. So this is what I'm saying. I don't want people to think that I'm just throwing stuff in the air when I say, oh, people see that you are easy prey and they prey upon you. This thing actually happens. It happens on a daily basis. And the thing is, a lot of people, they overlook stuff and they think stuff is funny and they think it's cute. So they just go along with it, not really understanding them. For a lot of them, by the time they figure out what's going on, it's too late. So let me play a little bit more of this.
And I have to make sure it happens underneath the right context. Otherwise, I just, I try to stay away from it.
I have to be fully transparent. Mm-hmm. When you reached out to me and I read your diagnoses, mm-hmm. I thought to myself, can I trust him? Mm-hmm. Can I give him the platform of our audience who I care deeply about? Mm-hmm. Are you going to try to manipulate me? Are you going to try to manipulate our audience? Are those valid concerns?
Those
absolutely
would be valid concerns, for sure. But as I said earlier, I would say I like what you do, because definitely people have voices that need to be heard.
I'm gonna turn this so y'all can see this guy.
Disturb that process in any way.
When you say prey on somebody, what do you mean?
So the way it would work for me is, I'll speak to someone. I won't really tell them much about me. They'll tell me about them, and then once they tell me about them, I'll kind of form a personality. I'll exaggerate certain features about my own personality to match what it is that they're looking to see. And then once I get my goal, whatever that goal is, then I'm done with the situation, and then I move on. I've had feelings.
So I want to get on that really quick. So what he said was, he'll check that person out. He looks at the person. He observes the person. He checks out their behaviors, and then he matches that behavior, or he changes his behavior to be whatever that person needs him to be, whatever he needs to be at that particular time to try to get over on that person. He's a chameleon. And this is, in the past when I've talked about somebody being a chameleon, this is exactly what I'm talking about. whatever color they need to change themselves to be in order to manipulate somebody, they'll do it at the drop of a dime. And just like he said, once they got whatever they wanted to get out of you, once they are done with you, they're done with you. They have no more purpose. Like, you serve no purpose for them at that point, unless something else comes up that they feel that they may need you for. They can use you or take advantage of you for that situation. You serve no purpose at that point. So you are going to be handled accordingly.
What was it like to feel strange at a young age?
It was a bit interesting, I would say, because you're kind of...
Let me move this a little bit.
I guess, why do you get so sad at certain things? Why do you... I would outsmart a lot of my teachers. I would come up with lies on the spot. So I sat back and I watched people, and I watched how they were able to do things, and I used this information to outsmart people. I was able to outsmart a lot of my teachers.
Look at his face as he talks about this.
That's how it started, the manipulation and the lying. I would outsmart a lot of my teachers. I would come up with lies on the spot. Like, I would come.
Did you see how he's getting excited about talking about being able to outsmart people?
My dog, he got rushed to the hospital last night. We were there late until about 3 a.m. and there was this problem and that problem and that problem. And I don't even have a dog. Never had a dog.
So would it be correct to say that when you meet somebody, you kind of size them up and you say, okay, this person shouldn't or should be manipulated?
It's not should or shouldn't be. If I have something that I want to get, then I'm gonna do my best to get it.
Since I walked in here and we started talking, have you sized me up at all and analyzed any of my weaknesses?
Let's check his face.
Manipulated?
He has.
He has. When I was watching your videos, I thought about it, but I wanted this to be kind of like more of an honest format. But no, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to, and it's also, I don't really gain anything from doing that in this situation anyway.
Can a person ever fully trust a sociopath, though?
One of the things that he said in here that goes back to what we talked about before with habitual liars or compulsive liars. They usually see some kind of benefit, a pathological lie. They see some type of benefit out of lying. We may not see the benefit, but there's some type of benefit that they get out of lying. He was just honest with that. But if you saw his face, the guy asked him, did you think about manipulating me? Did you already size me up? And the guy had this smirk on his face. Now, when you study body language and lying, what we call the human lie detector test, you could tell that whenever someone is lying, and I'm not going to give out everything on that, but there's something that happens with our lips, and he did it. So that let me know that whenever he got ready to answer that question, I'm looking at his lips and I'm looking at his eyes. He absolutely has sized that man up. He absolutely did it. He could not hide it. And I don't even know if the guy paid any attention to it. His actual physical response to his question, not what he said out of his mouth, but his physical response to his question. Also understanding that inside of this, you still have a manipulator. So he may say that he's not getting anything out of it, but ultimately, just like the other young black man that was in the video that I showed you guys last week that killed the girl that was his girlfriend and killed her aunt. He has something going on with him too, and he's basically saying he wasn't getting anything out of it. But when you're dealing with master manipulators, if you're dealing with people that are also dealing with a certain degree of narcissism, then what they're getting out of it is attention. So he may say that he's not getting anything out of it, but he's getting attention. This video has, I think, like 1.8 million views. It could be more than that. So he's definitely getting something out of it, regardless of what he says.
If this is someone that you actually care about, you have to spend time with them and see actually where their head is at, I would say. And I would say if this is, in most cases, you wouldn't even know. To be honest, you wouldn't know until they did something to you, if I'm being honest. So, but if you're meeting someone like me who is gonna, who will tell you that this is what I'm going through, I would say watch them. Watch and see how it is they react to certain things. see if they, are prone to outbursts. See if they're willing to lie to you. See if they're willing to manipulate you.
So I find it interesting that you said in order to trust a sociopath, you have to watch them, observe them, and understand their behavior. So it's almost like you want people to act like you, or you only understand.
Okay, so let me say this, because, okay, I didn't notice this part last night. So the person that he's talking to is definitely he's not a therapist. And I say that because just in him asking him some of these questions and the way that he's asking the questions, then that would let me know that he's not
in
a
the world
therapist.
from your perspective.
I wouldn't say it's that I necessarily want people to act like me. I look at it like it's more so about your own safety, in a way. If you're dealing with someone that does have those kind of issues, they do have strong urges. That's where, the observation point comes in, because you can't always perceive certain things like that based off of emotions. I'm really good at faking emotions, so you wouldn't, if you're going off of emotional basis, you wouldn't know.
Did y'all hear that? He said he is very good at faking emotions. Have you not seen this? This is one of the things that we have seen, especially when you have people that have narcissistic characteristics, but they are good at faking emotions, so they can cry at the drop of a dime. If they need to be sad, if they need to act like they're enraged, they're just angry, you really piss them off about something, and like if they need to turn it on, they can turn it on and they can turn it right back off. And that's why he's saying you really got to observe them. But it's not just about you observing their emotions alone. You got to observe everything in its totality, because they can fool you. I mean, this is what they do, and some of them do it without even thinking. This is what he's speaking on right now.
Last time you've manipulated somebody?
He asked him, when was the last time you manipulated somebody? Let's see what his answer is.
It's been about a year.
A year?
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
How have you gone a year without that?
I kind of limit my social interactions. I make sure I'm not dealing with certain kinds of people.
Did you always understand the negative effect manipulation can have on others?
No. I didn't always understand why people had an adverse reaction to it, because in a way I kind of looked at it like a game, and you lost.
Do you feel ashamed about people you hurt in the past?
No.
Shame, not necessarily, but I do look at it as being inadequate.
You being inadequate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
It's low frequency. Low frequency actions, low frequency emotions. That's really, that's how I look at it. It's just, it doesn't really help anyone. I guess it serves me. I get to fulfill a sensation, but then I have to fulfill the sensation again. So you could say, even for me, it's not working. So when you kind of think about it logically like that, and you gain insight, which is the issue, people that have, that diagnosis, it's hard for them to have insight in terms of what other people are experiencing. So you have to just gain a level of insight.
Now this is important to me because Sipping with Dimple, say how you doing. This was important to me because the way that he's describing it is almost the same way that you'll hear someone that's dealing with alcoholism or someone that has a substance abuse, some other type of substance abuse problem, and what they tell you about that initial high, like they're always chasing that initial high, and they get to a point where their body it plateaus, and like what you had, your body has built up a tolerance level to it, so it's no longer enough. So you have to go and you have to search for something higher. You have to keep going for more. He's saying the same thing happens with him when he's dealing with manipulating people or trying to chase that psychopathic high. And that's not how it was worded. I'm just putting it like this for the purposes of this video. But he's basically saying that it's the same thing. So once he does it one time, it's not helping him. Like he's not getting anything out of it. You get that initial high from being able to get over on somebody, but now you're coming down. So now you got to go find somebody else to get over on. And then the extent to which you do it, it increases because no, this was too easy. So you got to up the ante. So let me try to see if I can get over on this person, or let me see if I can get over on these people, not just one person. Let me see if I can get over this group of people versus just being able to get over on one or two people. So it keeps increasing. So it's just like you're chasing a high, like you are addicted to a substance.
What are all of your diagnoses?
So when it comes to antisocial personality disorders, specifically, you can see a lot of overlap with different conditions. So for me, I have bipolar disorder. There's the antisocial personality disorder, and then also I have some traits of borderline personality disorder. Typically, a person with the antisocial personality disorder, if they're getting diagnosed, it's because either someone asked them to go that was close to them, that's hurt by their actions, or they did something illegal, and now they have to see someone.
Oh, he spoke a word right there.
Because I was going through, for quite some time, I was going through basically bipolar episodes. And it was unusual for me because there would be times where I'm like feeling a level of happiness, like this kind of overt happiness. And then there would be just this deep depression where I don't want to leave bed, or I'll be intensely angry, or I'll be so numb that basically, I wish I was dead in certain circumstances. And that was unusual for me because throughout my life, I was used to not really feeling too much. And I do feel like, the bipolar disorder kind of resulted from the antisocial personality disorder. I feel like it came from me just, I guess, trying too hard to feel like I was a regular person. And then it never works for too long, because in order for you to have people close to you for a prolonged amount of time, they're gonna find out that something's wrong.
Did you have any fear with telling the world your diagnoses?
So he said a mouthful. If you guys are interested in looking at this full video, it's called An Interview with the Sociopath. Then in parentheses, it has antisocial personality disorder and bipolar. And it's on Special Books by Special Kids channel. And I was incorrect. This video actually has 12,062,827 views. It has over 12 million views. So there are some people that are actually interested in finding out about antisocial personality disorders. What does it mean to be a sociopath? Trying to get into the inner thinkings of a sociopath. So some people were interested in it. But just to give you a take, so you would have somebody like this. This is the type of person that would easily go and manipulate. Well, he's admitted that he's manipulated a lot of people. And that's what we see a lot of out here in these streets. A lot of people are falling prey to this type of behavior. And when you look at it, again, when you look at it all the way around, you have people that a lot of the times the people that are saying other people are brainwashed, like it might be you, you know what I mean? So you got to be you got to be careful. And I haven't looked at this one. I want to check this one out really.
I desensitize myself to it.
This is Jeffrey Dahmer. I don't know if you guys remember Jeffrey Dahmer.
I don't know. I went to great lengths.
He is pure evil, but you'd never know it by looking at him. But when you hear him, that's another story. His killing
Lavelle, hey, how
was
you doing?
Milwaukee, and he got away with murder for more than a decade. But how could any of this happen? For the first time ever, Nancy Glass is here inside the world of Jeffrey Dahmer.
Bill, when I sat down opposite Jeffrey Dahmer for this interview, I wondered what he would tell me, how hard it would be to get him to discuss his horrific crimes. What I found was that he was very forthcoming. He volunteered details that may be difficult to hear. I began by asking what he wanted from the men he picked up.
I had these obsessive desires and thoughts wanting to control them, to...
I'm going to turn this so y'all can see it.
I don't know how to put it, possess them permanently.
And that's why you killed them.
Right. Not because I was angry with them.
Overlook my ring light, y'all.
But because I wanted to keep them with me. And
He
as
wanted
my
to
obsession
control them.
grew, I was saving body parts such as skulls and skeletons.
Jeffrey Dahmer is recalling his monstrous past. Almost 2 years ago, in this little apartment in Milwaukee, police discovered the grisly remnants of one of the most horrible crime sprees in American history. Jeffrey Dahmer, an unassuming chocolate factory worker, would eventually confess that he had seduced, murdered, and dismembered 17 young men. He even ate some of his victims' body parts. He instantly became the center of worldwide media attention, a serial killer unmasked. There were protests and press conferences in Milwaukee as people tried to understand how this could have happened in their midst. How did Jeffrey Dahmer get away with murder after murder for 13 years? How did a boy born into a hard-working middle-class family turn into the worst kind of monster imaginable? In this exclusive interview, we put those questions to Jeffrey Dahmer
Okay, I was
himself.
about to skip this part.
We met with him at the maximum security prison where he is serving his sentence of 999 years. For the first time, he talks about his crimes.
This was from
and gives us a
1993.
chilling look inside the mind of a serial killer.
It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. When you depersonalize another person and view them as just an object for pleasure instead of a living, breathing human being, it seems to make it easier to do things you shouldn't do.
The reason why Jeffrey
I'm gonna
Dahmer
pause
was able
this
to
for a
get away
second.
with his crimes was because of just what you are.
One of the things that he just said, and one of the things that I have been touching on since, I'm going to say for the last 3 years while I've been on here, is when you look at the case that a lot of people have been talking about, you have a lot of people that, you know, we always talked about dehumanizing people and trying to humanize people. Because when you dehumanize someone, then it takes any type of empathy or any type of likeness that another human being may have for another person. It takes that away. You no longer see them as a regular person. This is what you see a lot of people doing with the person that's involved in the more recent case. They make it so they don't see him as a human. It's like like he's a supernatural type person, and so it makes it difficult for other people to see him as a human. So you become more so of an object to that person. When you become an object to another person, then it's hard for them to identify with you as a human. And this is why I know on my end, where I was trying so hard to make sure that you realize that at the end of the day, regardless of what somebody may have going on, regardless of how much money they may have, regardless of how popular they are, at the end of the day, they're still human. And you have to see them as a human. And even in that person's situation, his concern was that people did not see him as a human. So whenever you see this guy talking and he's talking about how he dehumanizes people, he puts them in a place where they're more objects to him, so that he's not really looking at them. Once he no longer sees them as a human, it's easy for him to go and do those things. Parallels. It's easy for people to not understand that what they're doing may be hurting someone else because they don't see him as a human. It's easy for people to keep carrying on with foolishness because they have dehumanized a person and they don't see how their actions play a deeper role in this person's life as a human. And all this stuff goes together, and it's hard to get people to understand how, when you put everything together, like why certain people do things the way that they do it, and try to, it's hard. It's just hard to get people to understand this. But it's all, let me go back to this video, y'all. Let me go on back to Jeffrey, child.
Seeing here. Jeffrey Dahmer is intelligent and articulate. That is what makes him so frightening.
Hold
If
on.
you listen carefully to his words.
This is what I was telling you guys when we had this video a while back, when the person came in and said that because someone has a mental illness, well, they can't have a mental illness because they're intelligent. And I was trying to tell them that people such as Jeffrey Dahmer was very intelligent. She just talked about him being intelligent. You're going to listen to him. Had you not known that this guy was the one that did all this stuff, you probably wouldn't believe that he actually did it. But just listen. Because sometimes it's those intelligent ones that you got to look out for. Just saying.
Words throughout this interview, you realize it is a thin disguise.
You do sound, though, like the kind of person who could have said to himself, "This is wrong. I must stop."
I always knew that it was wrong, but after the first killing was not planned. I was coming back from the shopping mall back in '78. I had fantasies about picking up a hitchhiker and taking him back to the house and having complete control and dominance over him.
The hitchhiker's name was Stephen Hicks. He was just 18. Jeffrey Dahmer took him to his parents' house.
No, I'm not going to play that whole...
He dismembered the body.
One of the things that I wanted you guys to hear from him is how he talked about control. And that's the thing that I've been harping on for a long time on this channel, about allowing other people to control you. This is where the conversation on the herd mentality comes from. Whenever you follow in that herd, whenever you have that group think, that group mentality, and you tend not to be, you feel like you're an individual thinker, you're an independent thinker, but at the same time, that independence only goes as far as the distance between you and the person that's controlling your thinking. So the minute that you get back in that person's reach, it doesn't have to be physically, it can be just visually, it can be being able to hear their voice. That's how far your independent thinking goes whenever you're being controlled by someone else. And this was the thing that he was saying. What he wanted complete control over his victims. That's what he has fantasized about, having control over people. This is what you guys see on a daily basis. Whether we want to admit that this is what we're seeing, you actually see people that are making a concerted effort to exert some type of power and control over groups of individuals. And these individuals don't realize that they are being controlled. They don't realize that people are attempting to control them. But again, I say in this type of situation, in this type of setting, if you are being told by someone that you do not know, you don't have any type of relationship to, you don't have any type of ties to, if you find yourself being told what to do, and it could be in a nice way. Don't get, manipulators are good at what they do now. That's why we call them master manipulators. They are good at what they do, and they can convince you to do something, and you don't even realize that you have been convinced until the damage is done. That's what makes them masters at their craft. So the thing is, at the end of the day, nobody should. We can come on here and we can give you information. We can tell you stories. We can give you different anecdotes, right? But at the end of the day, nobody should be coming on here trying to control your reality, what you think your reality is, or what your reality is supposed to be. So when I say something about somebody saying you shouldn't be over here or you shouldn't be over there, y'all, that is a type of control. And I don't know why people tend to overlook that and not see that that is a problem. That is a real problem. If someone says, don't talk to me if you talk to this person, that is a type of control. It doesn't matter how cute it's said. It doesn't matter if it has a laugh or a joke behind it. That's a type of control. That's someone trying to exert their power over someone else. They are trying to control you. When somebody keeps feeding you information with the sole intent of trying to control your thinking or getting you to change your mind about something, they are That's a type of psychological control. That is what abusers do. That's exactly what they do. Whether it's them telling you certain things, pulling on your purse strings to get you to go in your pockets, whether it's, just them pulling on your heartstrings to get you to come and to be around every time they pop up on the computer, because they know ultimately the more you pop up, the more they get paid. Or if they're not so much concerned about the monetary part of it, but they're concerned, they want the attention, they feed off the attention, then you're supplying that attention tank that they need. So there's some type of way that they are controlling that behavior. So we go a little bit deeper. So when it comes to stuff like social media, and it's all like, all of it has some level of manipulation to it, but I give you this access to me. It's like the membership. I give you this access to me, and now once I get you in this place, now let me give you a little deeper access. And like the more access that you get to that person, or that they get to you, then it becomes like you start focusing, you start honing in on that thing so much that it starts like taking over. And that's what you see a lot on here, because if you guys look, and I know you pay attention, if you come on YouTube, it's like some people never sleep. They are always on here. Always. 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 I mean, like the minute somebody goes live, you always see them there. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with having subscribers, because that's what subscribers do. You got followers, whatever, that's what they do. But they're everywhere. They're always there. 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. They're there. It's like there's some type of they don't, if you ask them, they don't know why they're there. They're just supporting their person, I'm going to get off Jeffrey, because I wouldn't want somebody that may have been a victim of whatever he had going on. But he was another example of a sociopath that I had mentioned the other week. And I just wanted to bring that back up today. I really, let me go to this other guy really quick. I really want people to look at what's going on right now, because we are in the midst of it. And if you don't really pay attention to what's going on, Lord, I promise you will easily get sucked into it. And I don't want to go on one of the other, let me see if I can go to a news channel. I think they got something right here. Let's see.
New tonight, an accused cult leader denied bond today in DeKalb County as he faces charges of rape and false imprisonment, too.
Police say Eligio Bishop and his followers, that they have taken over a home just outside Decatur. But the allegations against him and his group go far beyond that. We have team coverage tonight, starting with Joe Ripley, live at the DeKalb County Police Department.
Yeah, good evening, Jeff and Chiba. And it was earlier today when we saw Eligio Bishop appear before a judge for the first time since being arrested earlier this week at that DeKalb County home on charges of rape, false imprisonment, as well as a host of other charges. Police say they were tipped off from Bishop's social media posts. I'll show you a picture of that house now. Police arrested him here at this home in the neighborhood in DeKalb County. I spoke with a member of Carbon Nation. This is the group that Bishop heads. He calls himself, this member, Captain Ace. Ace says the group has millions of followers worldwide and focuses on leading a life of principles and morals. Ace says 14 people stay at that home, professing themselves as Bishop's disciples. He has been with the group about 4 years, says he met Bishop through social media, and tells me Bishop's posts resonated with him. Ace refers to his leader as, quote, God, and denied the allegations he faces, calling his leader's arrest one of the most troubling experiences he's ever had.
In my mind, he's not locked up. In my mind,
I'm going to press pause on this. And I'm pressing pause because I'm listening at what one of his followers is saying. This is one of the most troubling and most heinous things that they've ever seen. And he's not doing this and he's not doing that. How many people have we seen doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and the people that follow them will not admit they will not acknowledge any of the foolishness. They see it, but they will not acknowledge it because it's their leader. But when it comes to anybody else that is not their leader, then they can tell you exactly what that one did wrong. They can point out what this one did wrong, point out what that one did wrong. But whenever you try to get them to see or to acknowledge the wrong that that their leader may be doing, they're not going to see any, like, that leader can do no wrong.
Mine, I keep the thought frequency that he is free. And because I know that where my attention goes, that's what my reality will support.
You hear the word cult. Obviously, in this day and age, you definitely want to do research as to what is going on.
That is Patrick Henderson, a father. You can tell just from his comments, he's very disturbed, concerned by these allegations, as well as this group living down the street from him. He says if you see anything suspicious in your neighborhood, make sure you do your research and report it if it rises to that level of criminality. As for Bishop, he's going to remain in the DeKalb County Jail until Superior Court sets a new court date for him.
All right, Joe. And before Bishop's arrest this week, we uncovered the alleged cult leader had a long history of problems with the law, and he has a big following on social media. Investigator Andy Parati joins us now with more.
Hey, Sheba, he calls himself Bishop, Nature Boy, Christ. Those are just some of the aliases he's used over the past few years, all linked to his religious group with a history of problems.
But to anybody that compares themselves or
he's not locked up, but we are in a state of hell.
This is video of 38-year-old Eligio Bishop posted on his YouTube channel, The Three God TV. It has more than 90,000 subscribers, where he regularly refers to himself as the Messiah and the Christ.
I'm the return of Christ.
He's lived in Georgia on and off since at least 2006 and is a former licensed...
Okay. It does not take a genius, it does not take a rocket scientist for anyone to recognize that if you have someone going around calling themselves a Messiah, referring to themselves as Christ, that's probably not somebody that you need to be associating yourself with. I mean, but that's just my thinking. I don't know.
Since Barber. For years, social media posts and news reports show he and his followers bounced around South America, including Costa Rica, Nicaragua, and Panama, adding content to his prolific social media activity on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
Because they keep calling the cops over here, and I'm tired of
We found hundreds of videos and posts, many laced with profanity and rants about the world.
being God is not cool.
In 2017, he was accused of keeping a Canadian woman as part of his followers in Costa Rica. Bishop told the Canadian CBC news outlet that the woman was free to leave at any time.
Outstanding.
He was sentenced to 90 days in jail, and then he and about 20 members of the group were forced out of Hawaii for breaking COVID-19 quarantine in 2020.
According to court records, Bishop has been sued twice for failure to pay rent, property damage, and was divorced in 2013. We have much more about this man and his wild history in this story on 11alive.com.
Okay. Didn't want to get too deep into what he had going on, but just to really get people to think about the stuff that you are investing your time in, because a lot of this stuff that people are investing their time in, a lot of folks look like they're being led by other people, and that's definitely not a good thing. There was one other situation that I wanted to bring up when I was telling you about the stuff that had been happening lately. There was another murder.
Developing now, a second person under arrest after a mother.
Here we go. A female that was killed over a bowling ball. This recently happened. So again, I'm asking what's going on with people, and then I'm asking what's going on with my people, because this would be something like that people say, oh, black people don't do that. That's a lie. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We are like, that's some other people's stuff. No. No, we doing this. So let me give you this instead of telling you the story. Let me just, I'll
was
play it.
shot and killed outside an Atlanta bowling alley.
The suspect, one of nearly 60 fugitives arrested in Atlanta over the last month. That's according to Atlanta police. And nearly a quarter of them accused in murder cases. Tracy Amick-Pierre live at police headquarters right now. And Tracy, these arrests offering a bit of relief to the victims' families?
That's right. And Lakevia Jackson's family told me this afternoon that they had no idea that a second person had been arrested in her death.
I'm going to go to another video because I actually want y'all to get the story because this is just about the second person.
A 31-year-old woman during an argument over a bowling ball. Lakevia Jackson was at the Metro Fund Center for her best friend's birthday party. At some point during the evening, there was a fight and then gunfire.
CBS 46's Zach Summers spoke with Jackson's mother. Zach.
That interview, absolutely heartbreaking. You know, often police talk about conflict resolution. That did not happen here at Metro Fund Center last night. Instead, a young woman lost her life to gun violence.
My baby lost her life at a bowling ball.
Sharina Jackson's final moment with her daughter Lakevia is one no parent should have to endure.
I'm so hurt.
She helplessly heard her daughter take her last breath over the phone.
I couldn't understand
I
what
don't-
she was saying, and then all I heard was she's not breathing. And then I said, who? And she said, Lakevia, and I lost it then.
Lakevia went bowling at Metro Fund Center Thursday night to celebrate her best friend's birthday. Atlanta police say at some point she got into an argument with someone over a
Hey,
bowling
Tirana.
ball. The 31-year-old was shot and killed not too long after.
Now, some of you may be familiar with this. Some of you may not. You may not realize that this is who the person that people have been talking about, that this is who this person is. This young lady, Lakevia Jackson, was the one who had a baby from the rapper Young Thug. This was that young lady that was killed at the bowling alley over a bowling ball, 31 years old. So they have, they initially had one person in custody, and now they have another person in custody, and it's us. It's not somebody else that came along. It wasn't the man. It wasn't the system. It was us. It was us. So they got the guy. I'm not going to show his picture. But yeah, they have a male and it looks like they have a female. And while I have this up, I'll let you guys hear the video about the young lady from New York City, the mom that was killed by the handyman that she had the relationship with, the one that was stuffed into the duffel bag.
And here in New York City today, police arrested a handyman in the murder of a mother of two. 44-year-old David Bonola of Queens is accused of stabbing Ursula Gal nearly 60 times and stuffing her body inside her son's hockey bag over the weekend. Police say the two were romantically involved. NBC News reporter Zincle Esmoa joins me now. She's been following this story. Zincle, how did the police end up charging David Bonola? What more can you tell us about him?
Hi, Stephanie. Yeah, so Bonola actually turned himself in, and now he's been arrested and charged with murder, criminal tampering, and criminal possession of a weapon. Here's what they had to say at the press conference earlier today.
They had been off and on, and they had broken up prior, but had reunited early in the month of April, and their relationship was considered at an end.
So as you mentioned, Stephanie, it appears that the two did have an affair. Police say that it went on and off for 2 years. David, as we know, is 44 years old, and police say that the family was, in fact, familiar with him as well.
So Ursula Gal's body was discovered about a half mile from her home inside a duffel bag, but investigators say she was stabbed in her basement. So do we know how it got there?
Yeah, Stephanie, so this was incredibly gruesome, and that cannot be understated. Investigators walked us through the timeline. It started Friday. Gal was out. She went to Lincoln Center. She went to a restaurant. Restaurant owners have spoken out about how she seemed normal and unfazed. She then came to her home, where I'm standing right in front of, a little after 12 a.m. Then, they say, is when Basalia entered the home. Police do say that he had prior access, as he was a handyman for the family. He entered the home. It seems the two got into a heated exchange, which ended with her being stabbed at least 58 times in the house. Police also add that her youngest son seemed to have been inside the home when this was happening, though they say he was unaware. Then he put her body in a duffel bag and rolled it about half a mile from this home to a busy intersection. It was there that her body was found by a passerby, and law enforcement was able to link her body to this house because of a trail of blood. So a really gruesome scene, Stephanie, and something that we're still learning more about.
Yeah, you know, you're there in the neighborhood right now. This has to have been incredibly shocking for the people that live on that street. What do they have to say today about this?
So y'all, like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on with people right now, and I know that that some of the foolishness is, like I said, it's entertaining to a lot of people. But I caution you guys again, as I stated in the video before, that you really need to pay more attention to, be mindful at the things that you're giving your time to, and realize that there is a thin line between entertainment and mental illness. A lot of these people, like I said, when we talked about the subway shooter in New York, a lot of stuff is coming across as entertainment when we see people coming on YouTube and other social media outlets, you know, just ranting and raving and putting stuff out there and coming after people and just saying all types of crazy stuff. We think it's cute, we think it's funny, you know, we find humor in it, and then you know, end up finding out that something like the shooting happened in the subway, or you hear about, you know, somebody saying whatever they said they were going to do on social media, they ended up going and doing it in public. And we know that we have had several instances where we have seen people on social media that said they were going to go and do this to somebody, they were going to go and do that with somebody. If somebody came here, they were going to do this. If somebody came over here, they were going to do that. We've seen a lot of that. So at the end of the day, you really have to, you know, just sit back and examine situations for what they really are, and ask yourself, is this entertainment that I'm watching, or is this mental illness? Because understand that whenever you are entertaining people, again, and I said this before, and I know people may not agree with me on it, entertaining should not include you hurting someone, and whether that be verbally, physically, whatever it is, it should not include that. There's no reason for it to include that. If you have to use those things or come at somebody in that manner, or threaten to come at somebody in that manner to entertain, then there's something wrong with that picture. So I'm going to ask, what's going on with our people? And then more specifically, what is going on with us? Because right now, we're running amok, and we acting like we don't have a lick of sense. We just going out here doing any and everything, and we have all this stuff going on around us, and we're acting like we're living in a fantasy land, like we don't see this stuff happening, like it can't happen to us, like it won't happen to us. And that's how a lot of things happen. They don't matter to people until it hits close to home. So for me, I would caution people to, number one, be careful about who you allow in your circle. Be careful about who you allow in your space. Now, if you're going to be selective about something, that is definitely something that you want to be selective about. Be selective about who you let in your space. And when I say your space, I'm not only talking about your physical space, I'm talking about your space. Who you allow to live rent-free in your head. You have to be selective about who you allow and what you allow in your space, the types of things that you're taking in. Because those things that sit there and they fester, and someone else's thoughts can easily become yours if you allow them to seek refuge in your space. I'm just saying. So you want to be careful about that. You want to be vigilant about recognizing different types of flags. We could say red flags. I say recognize all flags. And definitely with us. And let me say this. And I want to be clear about this. If you are visiting any type of social media platform and you feel that the people are trying, if you have any type of inkling, if there's anything in your spirit, if there's anything, like if there is anything that you are feeling and it feels like somebody's trying to coach you, and I ain't talking about coaching in a healthy way, but trying to coach you or trying to get you to follow them, if they're trying to manipulate you into believing whatever they have going on and you know it's not right, exit stage left. And I'm not telling you who to deal with, what to deal. I'm just saying be mindful of your situation and exit stage left. Because anybody that is trying to manipulate you and trying to control you and trying to overpower your mind, they don't mean you any good. Those are facts. Now, we can go back and forth about it all day, but they don't mean you any good. There is no reason that anyone on social media, whatever platform it is, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever they got, Snapchat, whatever they got out here, there is no reason for someone, people can give you advice, but when it gets to the point to where someone is trying to control you, and you should know if you're being controlled, because if you go on or come into a setting feeling one way or thinking one thing, and by the time you leave, you're thinking or behaving in a certain way, and you can sit back and you're like, dog, I don't know where that came from. Like, that's not of you. You feel like somebody that took you, they knocked you off your square. That's what we call it, knock somebody off their square. Then you need to go back and think about that situation, do a mental rewind and figure out where stuff went wrong, and were you in a place where you were a victim of someone else's manipulative behaviors. If you feel that someone is trying to manipulate you, that is someone that you need to get away from. I know that's easier said than done, because a lot of times that could be bosses, that could be family members, that could be friends. If you can't get away from them completely, you can at least recognize the situation for what it is, acknowledge what's going on, and keep your distance. You may have to feed them with a long-handled spoon, but you need to recognize what your place is and how far you are going to allow them to get in your circle. I told you before, you have to keep those squares out of your circle. That doesn't fit. So stop letting them force their way into something that they were not meant to fit in. So be mindful and protect your space. Protect your house. The same way that you protect the dwelling that you live in, you also live in this dwelling. Do not allow that foolishness in your dwelling. And that's all I have to say about that. That's that on this. That's it. Y'all got any questions? I wasn't coming on here trying to preach, but yeah, y'all got any questions for me? You got any comments, or did you get anything out of this? Or y'all like, oh, she talking in circles again. She don't know what she's talking about. You know, she just be rambling. She sound like the people she be talking about. Do y'all have anything before I get off here? I just wanted to come and have this conversation with you guys, because there's just a lot of stuff going on. And I know a lot of people are looking at the YouTube stuff that's going on. Y'all, there's so much other stuff that's going on right now. And there's a lot of stuff that's going on that calls for our attention and can definitely use our energy, should we see fit to do so, because we can all make a difference somewhere. It doesn't have to be in one particular sector. We can all make a difference somewhere. And for those who claim to be there to protect the females, I'm calling you to task. You know, if you're really here to protect females, then show and prove. Don't be selective about what you're doing now. Show and prove. Show and prove. Because just like folks say all black lives matter and all lives matter, well, shoot, all females matter too. We don't do no apple picking around here. All females matter. Just saying. I know everybody might not agree with that. That's my opinion, and I'm standing on it. And I ain't trying to be controlling, because you got the right to be selective should you choose. But that's for me in my house. We looking out for everybody. Everybody. All of them. Every one of them. We looking out for everybody. We ain't cherry picking around here. We ain't cherry picking. Just like they said, no child left behind, no woman left behind. We taking this all the way around. So we ain't jumping on no fads or no trends because everybody want to say, ooh, go and let's protect this one. Oh, let's no, you protect all of them. Whether you like them or not, protect all of them. That's all I got to say. That's right, Basic Mom. Everybody. And Boston, hey, how you doing? Thank you for putting that up there. Guys, I'm going to get off here. I have exceeded my time. I just wanted to come and put this up here. I hope you guys got something out of this, especially the conversation on the social personality disorder, the sociopath, the sociopath conversation and interview that we heard a part of. Please go and check out that interview, y'all, because I may be the only one. I'm kind of nerdy when it comes to that stuff. I may be the only one that's interested in that. But if you have any type of interest in mental health and progress, what's going on, mental health and anything pertaining to that, then go check out that video. Not the one on Jeffrey Dahmer, the first one that I showed you with the young man that was doing that interview. I want to give a special shout out to the certified dimes that are in here. Hey, y'all. Shout out to the subscribers. Shout out to the non-subscribers. And let me say this, if you are not a subscriber and you got anything out of what was said today, hit that subscribe button. Don't just hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. And then hit the subscribe button. Like do that, And then if you are subscribed, make sure that you hit that notification bell. You can hit notification, but there's also a drop down from that notification because a lot of people say that they don't get the notifications for the live. That's how you make sure you get the notifications to the lives. I'll be getting all kinds of notifications. I'm about notified out, okay? I'm notified out. So make sure you do that. And if you don't get anything else out of anything that I said tonight, I want you to remember this one thing. And Boston already said it. Mind your business. It don't cost you a thing. You can do that for free 99. Free 99. Mind your business. Let other people do whatever they're doing and whatever they got going on and whatever they want to say, whatever. Whatever they think about you is none of your business. That's their business. So let them mind their business and you mind yours, and let them keep that bouffale right where it is over in their corner, and you keep minding the business that pays you and that slays you. Stay focused. With that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. I don't think I'll be back this week, but this is my weekly video. Guys, I am going to be doing more of a vlog. So I have some vlog videos coming out to kind of go through my little day and kind of show what I got going. It's not much, child. I'm boring, but yeah, doing a little vlog with some stuff that's going on. So you guys stay tuned for that because that's what I'm currently working on now. Now, I'm going to get off here. Again, thank y'all for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Bye.